years ago beats the other pro.
The pro celebrity race, a lot of fun here. Jack and I haven't driven it in a while. I think we wrecked too many cars when we were there.
I think they decided that the Toyotas were too expensive with you guys on board.
But it was your advice and guidance that got us there. Al Unser Jr. leads it. We'll look through the running order. Robbie Gordon now comes up and picks up second place. And by staying alive and fighting hard, Raul Boesel is now in third. But Nigel Mansell has dropped back to fifth because of that tire, Gary Gerould.
Paul, he got into the pits. It was 13.5 seconds to make the change and to get the full complement of fuel that should take him the rest of the distance. They believed that the reason for the flat was contact from behind by Michael Andretti. Now he drops back, but on the radio they're already telling Nigel they're in good shape, we're all right. I think what they want to do is make sure they finish and get those championship points.
Yeah, let's keep in mind that on these tires that they're tubeless. They're tubeless tires. They're very, very thin. So if you look at the front wing in a car, the side plates, for example, could be a knife. If a wing goes up, just touches somebody's tire, it just slices it.
Another quick spin on, and again, the three car.
Paul Tracy, trouble. And of course, you know, there's been bad blood already between Nigel Mansell and Michael Andretti. They had words just before the start at Australia. So this is just another chapter in what may become a hot story as the year develops.
There is second place, 72nd lap for Robbie Gordon. He is 28 seconds behind the leader of the race. A good deal of ground to make up. One would suggest almost an impossible amount of ground.
But also keep in mind that all during practice, as we've watched all of it this weekend, Robbie Gordon has been one of the fastest cars, sometimes the fastest car during practice. The kid is one heck of a hard charger. He'll never give up. He'll either wear the car out, wreck it, or try to beat little Al hard.
Get a further update, Gary Gerould.
Just a few minutes ago, we had talked to Derek Walker about how the Robbie Gordon day was progressing. Walker, of course, the owner of the team that puts Robbie on the track. He said, well, I don't think we've got enough to match the Penske's. That was just moments before Emerson encountered his problem. He said it's the usual slipping and sliding on the streets. We wish we may have had a little more downforce, but we think we're okay. So all in all, a pretty positive outlook. We almost got an identical report regarding Raul Boesel, who is running in the next position back and on the lead lap.
Well, we're riding here with Robbie Gordon. Of course, he had accidents in his test sessions. Oh,
another spin. Well, I'll tell you what, getting into that corner has been tough for everybody. It's one of the Pac West cars, and he's right in the middle of the line.
Yeah,
look at this.
I'm sure that's Dominic Dobson right there, although I can't. The car's are identical in color, so it's Dobson sitting out there. But you know, the bad thing about it is, it's a terrible position to be sitting in for both the guys on the track and himself.
Well, they've got to get it out of there, and there is the question whether or not this should be a full course yellow.
Yes, and you can see the course workers are not opting to go out there and help get him off the deal. And look what the cars have to do to go around it.
Well, that's not that far down. Why don't you go out there and give him a pull?
I wasn't even going to offer that part, Paul.
I'll tell you what, course marshals here, of course, all volunteers. They work day on day on day. Here's on board with Nigel Mansell. Cross the start-finish line. Now look ahead for the yellow flags and then for that car in the course.
And remember, he's going 190 right about here as he hits the brakes hard. Now he sees it. It's a pretty good view of it. Remember that Robbie Gordon right now is 26 seconds back of Al Unser Jr. So if there is a full course yellow, it will have a material effect on the incident. Here we are now riding with Gordon as he sees the same thing. Whoa.
Yeah, that's really close. Remember, the guys that can make it on the inside, that's where the track is clean. The guys that have to go on the outside, that's where you find the marble. That isn't an easy place to go around.
And of course, they're going to have to move that car out of the way. So the next lap, you think, as you're a driver, you put yourself in Robbie Gordon's seat. You know you got to remember what's going on and look for it next time. Here we go. Looking at the spin.
There it is.
Same problem that Tracy seems to have. Too much rear brake, not enough front brake, and you spin. There's no choice either. A guy's got to keep stopping when he gets down there. Going from 190 miles an hour to stay down to 70. Hey, you got to stop. That's all there is to it.
Let's look at Michael as he was following Nigel. They're, by the way, in a battle for position here. Whoa! Little little close, huh? Just a little close.
But then
That explained
Nigel
the tire?
definitely slowed suddenly, didn't he, because of traffic. He was in a bind, too. I don't think you can fall either.
No, he had traffic to the inside. That's racing right there.
Yeah.
Race summary after 76 laps, 5 lead changes, 9 cars out of the race, and we've had 1 full course caution for 6 laps. So still waiting with no full course yellow. They're going to clear that car of Dominic Dobson without going full course. And Al Unser Jr. leads after 77 laps. Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, you ride with the 5th place car, Nigel Mansell, anticipating pit stops, what should be the final stop of the race any time now here. Tonight, IBC begins with America's Funniest Hour, then followed by Lois Clark. Then Jane Seymour stars in an ABC movie world premiere of Passion for Justice. That's all here on ABC tonight. A couple of cars that, while the battles have been going on, have been doing a fantastic job. From 19th to 9th, Adrian Fernandez. From 26th to 10th, Robbie Buell. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Al Unser Jr. in for what should be his final stop of the afternoon, working very methodically, but the concern for everyone on pit road is this 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. They're completing their work, and this time Al Jr. is far more careful coming down pit road. We'll wait and see if he's under the 66 drop-dead speed limit.
He's going to stay under it this time, Jack. I can about guarantee you he's got a fairly good lead in the race. Penske's already told him, man, no matter what, don't get another stop and go, because that really could cost him the race.
Very careful on the exit. Carefully with just 2 lines over. Looked perfectly legal to me. Al Unser Jr. Very heads-up driver and very good here. Robbie Gordon should be due for a stop anytime.
4 victories, of course, in his career for Al Unser Jr. Here, this victory, if it comes, his 5th, would give him 20 IndyCar wins in his career, put him 1 behind Emerson Fittipaldi.
Now we're going to see little Al. He's on his last fuel stop. He won't have to stop again without problems. We're going to see him taking better care of the transmission and trying to guarantee that he doesn't overuse fuel or anything like that for the remainder.
It was good here to see the family of Don Sully Sullivan. We look at one of the Ford-powered cars. He was one of the chief engineers for the first flathead V8 production engine for Ford, 1932. He passed away recently, but family here watching the race today.
That was the most famous racing engine in the world for many years. You know, I thought that would never leave.
I'll tell you who we are missing, though. Regulars that have been competing in IndyCar racing the last few years. Danny Sullivan, Roberto Guerrero, Scott Brayton, Eddie Cheever do not have rides this year, and they are much missed.
Do you anticipate they show at Indy?
Well, I think some of them will in one form or another.
I think they'd all like to, Sam. They're just looking for good rides. That's what it all amounts to.
This, of course, the final race before the great Indianapolis 500. ABC will be there on top of everything throughout the month of May.
And think of what a win here would mean to Al Unser Jr. A winner at Indianapolis a couple of years back. In Eclipse really since then as the Gallus team unraveled a bit over the last couple of years. Now he's fallen into the best team in the business. Many people said, could they run 3 cars competently? The answer is yes.
Robbie Gordon, who picked up the lead of the race on Al Unser Jr.'s pit stop, has now completed the 82nd lap, 41 laps since his last stop. Now that seems to be pretty much within the window, but last week at Phoenix, they had this car in the lead of the race and ran it out of fuel. Let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Well, just remember, this is Derek Walker that owns and runs that team. He makes the decision on Robbie Gordon. Derek used to work for Penske for many years, without doubt. He's one of the best team managers in the business, so he'll gamble and shuffle everything he can to get any advantage, or he'll definitely take a gamble on fuel.
Robbie Buell, who runs 9th, has gone 42 laps since his last stop. That's the furthest lead reach out since the last stop. We keep riding Robbie Gordon. He's going to stop. There he comes. He comes into the pits. Robbie Gordon, leader of the race at the moment. Al Unser Jr. should pick up the lead as he flashes by on the main straightaway. Gary Gerould is there.
They were very concerned about that fuel problem that ran him out of the race last week at Phoenix, but they said they found the problem. They wouldn't talk about it. They were not concerned coming in today. He's here for his final service. He's got a shot today at his first ever IndyCar victory. He was second last year at Mid-Ohio. We've got him rolling in 13.3 seconds, Paul.
Raul Boesel in third place as Robbie Gordon rolls back to the track, and I use the word rolls advisedly. Very, very careful. They can't accelerate until they get past those last pits. Boesel now should be the next car to come in as he comes in and picks up second place with Robbie Gordon's pit stop.
Well, that beautiful onboard camera that's on Robbie Gordon's car, you can see how he accelerated a little bit too fast and he slowed right back down. You can see that from the camera. It's the best onboard camera shots I've ever seen.
Boesel is having himself a fine day. He, of course, was in many ways the unsung hero of last year. He came very, very close to winning several races, including the Indianapolis 500 for the Dick Simon team. Dick Simon has been around as a car owner for many, many years. He, too, has gone winless through all these many seasons of effort. It would be great to see Boesel, who pits now, have some success.
Raul Boesel turns on to pit road. Jack Arute waits.
And Paul, Dick Simon's Duracell crew is going to do a calculated stop. Not a time stop, but 15 gallons. They have measured exactly how many gallons. They've got a mark on the tank. When they hit it, they pull and disconnect. And now they're going to drop. They're having a problem changing the rear tires. They've completed that. In 10.9 seconds, he's off and away. He's looking for second spot. Doesn't think he can beat Unser Jr., but he thinks he can go into second.
We're looking, too, for Robbie Gordon, who now is down in the first turn.
Side by side with Teo Fabi.
And battling with Teo Fabi, though not a battle for position. But nevertheless, he certainly did get out ahead of Raul Boesel.
It's really not like Robbie Gordon to let anybody pass him because he normally wouldn't know that was for a position or not right then because Teo is really on the move right now.
But you know, Bobby, this is a great drive for Robbie Gordon. I started to say earlier that he had crashes in all his testing situations, including a really bad one in Phoenix. But and trouble, of course, at the first race at Surfers Paradise. This is a very steady run he is having, and he's being rewarded by attrition ahead of him on the road. I think he could realize today that a steady run could bring great fruits.
The yellow car, Teo Fabi, is 10th place, a lap behind the lead of the race.
The blue and white car, Robbie Gordon, just another mention. In my opinion, he's a young A.J. Foyt.
Michael Andretti makes his stop, Gary.
As usual, he brings it in hot. He doesn't have to lock up the tires, but he hits those marks perfectly, and this crew goes to work. Elated, of course, as he came back to IndyCar racing with a victory on the streets of Australia, but as we alluded earlier, it's been a disappointing weekend in many respects. He's rolling smoothly, just under 14 seconds. He should be good for the rest of the distance.
Michael Andretti comes in fourth place. Adrian Fernandez passed him on the straightaway as he made the stop. He should come out and join the field somewhere very close to his father, Mario. He'll be making his last passes down the Shoreline Drive here. Again, look at all the braking marks as they go into the first turn, and Michael is coming back up to speed. Al Unser Jr. has a 36-second lead over second place Nigel Mansell. Robbie Gordon is third. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, one of the world's most enduring symbols. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California, has been providing these beautiful aerial pictures. Goodyear blimps have been flying over major sporting events since 1925. Emerson Fittipaldi with a gearbox problem. Now he's pit side with Jack Arute.
And Paul, he made a hasty trip back here because the first person you went to talk to was Roger Penske and Al Unser Jr.'s pit. What did you try to do? Describe what had happened to your gearbox so they could radio to Al Jr.?
Yes, exactly, Jack. I mean, my car was flying. I was so happy the way the race was going. And then I started having problems shift from fifth to fourth. And then I lost fourth, third, second, and then all the gears. And I just told Roger, for all really be careful because we have a critical problem in the gearbox. I hope we can finish. I mean, he runs so strong.
Well, let's check in with Gary Gerould for some more information on pit road.
Jack, there was momentary concern that Michael Andretti may have had a broken header, but the crew says it sounds fine as it came by the front straightaway just seconds ago. Interesting note on Raul Boesel. We understand the team was fined $100 for unattended equipment on pit road. Dick Simon's comment, it was worth it for an 11-second pit stop. Also, Adrian Fernandez started 17th. He was 5th when he made his pit stop. He's running solidly in the top 10. A much more impressive showing for this young man.
Boy, no question about that. Nigel Mansell now second place, but 37 seconds behind Al Unser Jr. Bobby Unser, that tire actually worked out in a strange sort of way.
Well, it really did. If he's got enough fuel to go the last, which I think he does, And the tire didn't hurt him that much because one of the things is he was able to avoid the last hairpin. The new rules allow you to come in what they call the shortcut into the pit, which saved him probably another 8 to 15 seconds, Paul. That's a